Hey all you subscribers, this is Rydo and we are back to another recording of Hearthstone. Trying a new intro there, trying to see how that sounds on my tongue. I'm not sure I particularly like it. I don't push people to subscribe at the beginning. I kind of need to, but I needed to. I also personally want it to be a quick and easy entry into a recording. So generally it's just, hey everybody, my name is Rydo and we're back to this game. That's kind of all you need to know. But I would like to see if I could integrate subscribing, or at least saying the word subscribe, to memorize people, get people to subscribe more. So hey all you subscribers, hey subscribers, something like that. Kind of frankly, if you are watching my video and you are so obviously offended by me calling you a subscriber when you aren't, and you refuse to ever subscribe to my channel, and you're just morally opposed to ever subscribing to my channel, at the moment and kind of going forward, you're just not a fan that I want. Sorry, if you're not willing to even click the subscribe button, you haven't even met me halfway. So like this, I don't want to turn it into a this is the moment when Rydo turns on his fans and starts a big controversy. But yeah, if you are offended by being called a subscriber and you absolutely inherently will never subscribe to my channel, and you know that, then I guess at that point I kind of just say, well, let's go our own ways. Like, just you're not the kind of fan I want. Sorry. Moving on, I guess I'll continue to try to have that intro. I'll break it up into new games that I'm recording, so if I maintain it consistently, I'll do it throughout the Halloween month, October. October is just becoming Halloween month in my head, and nothing else. We've got a game on Steam. Let's kind of burn through these games. It's called Hungry Shadows. It has Dark Screenshot Syndrome. The game I recently played, Layers of Fear, also had Dark Screenshot Syndrome. Just the entirety of the game, like very few sections at all, had properly lit rooms. You really couldn't see anything at all. Hungry Shadows is a horrible game. Asset flip type game. Low effort asset flip. Do we really need to make a category now of, are there going to be high effort asset flips and low effort asset flips? Hungry Shadows is 40% off for 59 cents. Cheapest I think you can sell a game on Steam. Let's move on. Next game we have on Steam is called Rytter, R-I-T-T-E-R. It says it's an action indie adventure game. It kind of looks like a mobile cell phone port. Yeah. It looks to me like it might be even a one-button game, or it might be more. It looks like it's a platformer. You're playing as a knight jumping around on these floating platforms. Let's do this.
In the light's name.
And then
it's playtime.
Yeah. So I just saw a double jump, so he grabbed the ledge. That's actually kind of surprising that he could do that. Rytter is 40% off for 59 cents though. It's too simplistic a game. Really, it's just running around and collecting gold stars or medals or whatever. just they say they're medals, but then they depict them as gold stars at the top right of the screen. So you know that's not an original animation.
Face the light.
Okay, moving on. I need not linger on these things. Let's see, here's a review from adventuregamers.com, which they only really cover adventure games, and they're reviewing Unavowed, and I just want to get a general idea of how much the review goes for. Okay, the review score actually is at the top, interestingly enough. On the side they say it's a classic, 5 stars out of 5. So they really like Unavowed. Good. It's on my wish list already, so no big issue there. Let's put this. Do this. This. And that. And in return. Here's a non-article on PC Gamer, how I accidentally became a RuneScape coal baron. So this is really just a story about somebody who was playing RuneScape that now works at PC Gamer. PC Gamer does have it more interesting. This was a slightly funny funny controversy, sort of kind of a meme controversy. World of Warcraft's game director responds to the Battle for Azeroth's Night Elf genocide drama and rocky pre-patch. Normally the months before a new expansion are a boring lull, but the Battle for Azeroth's pre-patch has been anything else. Let's see. Okay.
At least I had chicken.
This. Play this. 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 And that. The pre-patch messing up World of Warcraft doesn't really matter as much to me. It matters to people who play World of Warcraft, but I think in general the cutscene response is something that's more interesting to talk about. So I have a thing here. It's I don't know if it's a quote or a response or what. Apparently I need to play mage cards now. We hadn't gotten today's thing. Alright, well, we'll play some mage cards. That's good, actually, because I was afraid I was going to run out of data quests before I ran out of news. So the quote here, or whatever this is, that said, there was a massive difference in response to the two cinematics. When Warbringer's Sylvanas came out, people seemed to lose their minds. They were so upset. A lot of people were criticizing it as bad writing. What was it like as creators of the story to have been in that position and know that very soon the old soldier cinematic was going to release and provide this valuable context to Sylvanas' action that players wanted? So I guess that in bold that I just read was the question. And so now it says John Hight, H-I-G-H-T. What was fun for us in a way was this is a time where we're telling the story of the game and outside the game. Telling the story in the game and outside the game. We choreographed it in such a way so that the Warbringers and the Old Soldier movie could be shown separately. It'd be fun. It was fun because we literally saw the reaction to the Sylvanas piece, the outrage, the Horde players feeling somewhat betrayed, and the Alliance players being like, how could you do this? So apparently, yeah, like Alliance, if I recall my playing the original Warcraft game, not World of Warcraft, the Alliance is the human factions, where the Horde is the orc factions, ogre factions. So if one person changed sides, that's pretty big. And behind the scenes, we were like, wait for it. And then the old soldier landed, and watching that reaction to it was awesome. Let's see. And then there's a response from someone named Hazikostas, Hazzikostas. It's like one name, so I assume it's a fake name, and not a Japanese name, or some foreign name of some sort. It doesn't sound Japanese. I think a lot of players' reaction stems from the emotional investment in people's views of Sylvanas, a character that had been prominent in the Warcraft franchise going back years and years, at this point predating World of Warcraft itself, and then the Horde as a whole. One of the big questions in players' minds, well, this act seems evil. Does this act define the Horde as a whole? Does this implicitly then define me as a player who is a member of the Horde? I think the rejoinder to those concerns came just a couple days later as a reminder that no, the Horde is much greater than any one act or any one person. There's a lot more story left to tell. So if I'm to take it from an outsider's perspective, the reason, my guess is, that people are not happy with what happened is because the game Blizzard is trying to put story into something that has become too big for story, and this is certainly let's see. They have links here to the videos. I guess I need to watch them myself to see. Warbringer Sylvanas is 4 minutes long. Yeah, World of Warcraft has just gotten too big for story, particularly the MMO World of Warcraft. Yeah, if it was more of a case of they came out with a new Warcraft in general, just something on design specifically to be a single player story and something that you had to figure out. Seems like Sylvanas is a dark elf, which I think they work with the humanoid Alliance side, although you would almost think that a dark elf would side one way and a light elf might side the other way. Of course, I'm playing World of Warcraft characters right now, and well, maybe she isn't a dark elf. Maybe she's just a regular elf, and that scene was dark. That could be another issue. Let's see, can I kill anything here that will not kill me? I can do this. I can do this. Alright, I missed something. It went into a flashback. So Sylvanas, maybe not the character that I thought it was. So I saw, now I'm seeing this paladin-like character on on horseback who stabbed the elf character. Let's do this.
Unravel.
Do this. And the turn. And whoever stabbed that elf, her soul became like corrupted and released, and I don't know. There's a lot of tears going on between the two elves in the main part of this animation as they were telling that flashback section.
Is too full.
See, there's a lot of sound effects or such. Like, actually this cutscene is very not well animated. It's kind of like a motion comic book. Let's start this going down. Let's get rid of one of these. And then end the turn. Yeah, that cutscene meant literally nothing to me. The Sylvanas World of Warcraft video meant nothing to me whatsoever. So, is this just two videos then? Now I'm looking at the Old Soldier and I'm just kind of skipping. Where two members of... one member of the Alliance seems to have betrayed the Alliance, and one member of the Horde seems to have betrayed the Horde. Or what? I am now 4 minutes into Old Soldier. Old Soldier seems to be animated a lot more fluidly. So, if I was to guess, I'd say the Sylvanas one was created on a less budget and after the Old Soldier one had been created. So this seems like this is a contrived controversy. Also seems like this is just a total waste of time for me. Like, I just don't follow the Warcraft lore at all, so an attempt on my part to let's see. Well, I screwed that up.
Unravel. Bring the pain.
I know there's blue orcs and green orcs. I'm seeing a blue orc and a green orc. And there's like different tribes of orcs. And there might be a little infighting here. And see, it seems like it's just talking that's happening on the Old Soldier. On the Old Soldier cinematic. So, yeah. Well, I'm never going to try that again. Clearly, there's also a Warbringers Jaina video, now that I'm scrolling down. And there's a World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth cinematic something that's linked on this PC Gamer article. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to leave it to the chat. If somebody wants to comment or tell me in the chat why people are so upset with the two videos and what it really means. Best as I can tell is World of Warcraft has just gotten too big and too personal for people who have played it, to the point where the writers can't even add story to it without adding new characters, and thus having somebody with a motivation that the writers can write compared to people whose motivations are already pretty well established and they already know what the reaction is expected for each character. And I can kind of understand it. If somebody told me that playing Jaina here meant I was a bad guy, or if Jaina started talking and she had, like, she kept saying lines like, "I'm here to take over the world," and "I'm here to enslave everybody," yeah, that'd be a better phrase. It's like, "I will enslave you all, I will enslave you hit this, I will enslave you that." That would feel a little weird, because that's just not who Jaina, as I know him, as a character, is. Now, I don't really know who Jaina is at all, and they've done that intentionally, so you just play as these characters and that's it. I know she casts spells, and that's kind of it. But yeah, I need to move on. That was a huge waste of time. TechRaptor has an article, Die Again on PC. Let It Die is coming out this fall on PC. It was a free-to-play game on PS4, so one kind of assumes it will be a free-to-play game on Steam. Got a 75 on OpenCritic. Let's see. I'll be ready to do this. Guess we are. Although, to be fair, I think Let It Die, more than anything else, has tried to make it very, very fair to play the game without actually spending any money, or as best as I can. I'm still not sure I would spend more than an hour playing that game, though. Because it's a free-to-play game, or I assume it is. Let's see. If I do this, it'll just get killed. So I need to kill that. CNN Tech had an article that was retweeted by Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, which is odd that this would get retweeted by her, and it shows that she is way more interested in pandering to big media, and she in particular wants big news reporting channels to stop attacking the new news reporting channels that pop up on YouTube, because they're not succeeding as much as they would like on YouTube. CNN isn't, in particular. Of course, with new news channels, if you're really calling yourself a new news channel, there is a lot of risk of people just saying complete false actions, false statements. But this article is The Strange World of YouTube Creator Side Gigs, which inherently, yeah, you probably need a side gig of some sort to make any money while being a YouTuber, unless you're very extremely successful. I'm seeing pictures here. I'm just gonna scroll through this article. I'm seeing pictures of people selling their merch, which, yeah, I guess that is the side gigs, but that's not really what I was thinking they were going to be talking about. I thought they had found maybe 5 to 20 successful YouTubers who are doing other things. For instance, like, I think the hydraulic press channel guy, I'm pretty sure he runs an actual shop and makes money from that, not just from making videos from the hydraulic press. Also, the hydraulic press channel has had at least 2 Android games that have been made, and certainly there are some people that have jobs and have interesting YouTube channels. Let's see. I need this and this, and then whenever this minion takes damage, draw a card. This. Susan Wojcicki still really only tweets very sporadically, and she doesn't really try to promote YouTube as much as she tries to promote where she wants to see YouTube go. Whether you agree with that decision or not.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Job's done.
She has another article talking about YouTube's best known twins, which are those girls that promote STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They're doing a decent job. I found the one video I tried to watch of them to be pretty dumbed down for kids, which is fair enough, and it seemed like they were getting a lot of help in learning it themselves, which also fair enough, because they are like 18-year-olds. Twins.
You asked for it.
It's hopefully a better situation than where like Mary-Kate and Ashley ended up. Both them being they're actually triplets, but them being very successful, but also falling into a lot of the Hollywood degeneracies and just not having a good life, as most child actors tend to not have a good life. That might be one thing that
by the holy light.
That is an interesting idea of maybe giving child actors and famous children a better chance at a regular life. Like the What's Inside YouTube channel, it has a kid that is the child of the father who runs the channel, and I think there's a better chance of him having a normal life than if he had gone and done What's Inside as a TV show that was recorded in California and the father was barely involved or not involved at all. Moving on, Rock Paper Shotgun has an article called No Longer Home Combines Monsters with Adult Fears. I haven't heard of this game, so either it is not out yet or it's really new. It's a Kickstarter game. Okay. And I don't recommend kickstarting any Kickstarter games. I suppose it is slightly worth mentioning that the fan sequel to The Seventh Guest that's coming out in Halloween, around Halloween, is called The 13th Doll, and it was a successfully kickstarted game, but you can still pre-order it and they'll honor certain levels of the Kickstarter rewards. So yeah, there's seems to be room there to just kind of pre-order and buy the game. I guess I would still say it's not a good move to buy or pre-order games, and theoretically you should wait till there's some reviews on the 13th Guest. And in all honesty, I don't think anybody is just chomping at the bit to play a brand new horror game on Halloween. I think most people can find something better to do with their time.
An incredible discovery.
Let's see. I'm going through a few of these articles and just closing them. Like, PC Gamer has free games of the week and games you may have missed this week as recap videos. There's no reason to talk about free games though, and most of them are terrible. Speaking of probably terrible, there's a game on Steam called Monster Minis Extreme Off-Road. It seems like it's a racing game, kind of asset flip type game. It may not be an asset flip, but it may very well be. And the only real difference is that they've kind of scaled down the cars to make them look like mini versions of monster trucks, toy monster truck cars, as compared to real world monster truck cars. It is 10% off for $7.19. And yeah, I just don't really see anything here that would cause me to be interested in it. Okay.
I found it first.
Bring pain. Job done.
So yeah, close that.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
I'll check that later.
Reporting
Yeah,
for
I
duty.
don't need to look at that right now. Crystal Dynamics has made a new studio. Crystal Dynamics being the company behind, behind the reboot of the Tomb Raider series. So they now have a new studio. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on this text.
Reporting for duty.
Nope, their website sucks. Well, I can zoom in a little bit. Announce an expansion with new hires at our Redwood Shores headquarters and the creation of our new Bellevue, Washington satellite studio, Crystal Northwest. So Bellevue, Washington, and their main Redwood Shores.
Someday I'll be just like you. Someday I'll be just like you.
Let the pain speak to me.
In return. See, I think on this mage deck that I have, I actually don't have enough cards to play. Like, I don't think I have the right cards, and so... So we did that. Okay, I don't want to talk about this article too much. Gamma Sutra has devs corroborate claims of sexist culture as Riot looks its ways forward. Let's see. I don't know what... Like, the thing here is cooperation means there are no new claims. And the original claims I found incredibly weak and pathetic. Certainly, mostly it boiled down to some disgruntled employees who were female and weren't assertive enough to to speak out or file an HR report. Instead complained that they were talked over in meetings and quote-unquote standing meetings, which there's no such thing as standing meetings. That's literally just people standing around talking and they didn't want to talk to you. There's a big difference. I was certainly willing to go to the level of saying, yes, it seems like they're running their meetings at Riot Games pretty poorly, because most meetings are scheduled and planned so that one person is talking.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
They seem to mostly have meetings that devolve into just group chats, which is not good. There's really no solution there other than having a talking stick, something like that.
Unravel.
Should have hit this guy, I guess. Let's see. Like, I'm trying to scroll down this article, but it really just seems like it's just bringing up the same article again and trying to get more get more eyeballs on it. This was originally a Kotaku article that was very obviously timed to just have something else be talked about during Gamergate's anniversary, which, I mean, that's a smart move. I can't disagree with it being a smart move. In fact, also some of their coverage, I would say, of the IGN plagiarism, which I'm not sure I reported. The guy who was caught plagiarizing made an awful apology video where he didn't apologize. Let's see. So all of this Game of Sutra article really is saying is that, yeah, we got corroboration, but they're not really saying what the corroboration was, which is kind of a nothing response. Like, I don't know what you do with that or how you deal with that at that point. Like, what do you do? Like, why should I believe that? But no new accusations, which would have made this more of a story that really should have been reported on had there been some actual accusations that came out of this. Like, and I certainly am not going to believe in the idea. Oh, I could have played this a long time ago. I'm not going to believe in the idea of it's alright to make accusations if that then opens the door to other people making accusations that are valid. I guess my point there, to rephrase that, is I'm not going to buy into the thought it's alright to make weak or false accusations if it leads to somebody making a valid accusation or a real accusation. Like, no, that's backwards logic.
Put your faith in
Moving on, though, that article irritated me when I first saw it, and now it's not much better in bringing it back up again. GameIndustry.biz has an article, according to Good Old Games, streaming is another layer of DRM. The head of global communications, Lukas Kukawaski, says streaming will take over game distribution. Talks about the storefront's approach to discoverability and audience expansion. And see, this seems like this is really an interview, and the best that they could quote mine them for was streaming is another layer of DRM, which, I mean, depending on how you look at it, I could kind of see what they're saying.
That was a mistake.
Like, in theory, everything I stream and put on YouTube is going through their Content ID system, which is a digital rights management software to make sure I have the digital rights, or whoever who does have the digital rights to the audio and video of the games I'm criticizing can put claims on it and steal the content revenue that I used to be getting. Yeah, there's a lot in that statement, certainly. I kind of get that, but hardly though. And I guess when I make a pre-recorded footage, as we now move over to the Asian account, I'm not really streaming, but I'm still dealing with that YouTube, Twitch DRM. But I think really this is more of an example of Good Old Games has gotten a lot of attention by being very anti-DRM, while not really addressing the fact, or kind of highlighting the fact and being proud of the fact that they're really just not doing a great job competing against Steam if you want a storefront that is a one-stop shop. Guess I need to play as a rogue. Yeah, like if as somebody who got forced into owning Witcher 3 on Good Old Games, and I think owns maybe a couple other games on Good Old Games, I've never gone to their store. I've never wanted to buy anything there because I know there's just a ton of things that they won't have because they're doing this curated experience, and honestly they're not doing a good job of a curated experience, because you'd have to go through everything that's on Steam and really make a decision, a much bigger decisions, and a lot more of them as far as bringing in a lot more content. Moving on, PC Gamer has a article, the narrative platformer Gris comes to PC later this year. Aims to be a free of danger, frustration, or death. It has a little trailer. Let's see. This is a digital devolver. Looks like it is a bit of a, yeah, platformer. It seems like you can jump really high or maybe even fly. It'd be really cool when it comes out, but this is another example of digital devolver doing a good job as a publisher and getting people hyped compared to, say, Gearbox Publishing, which is done a pretty terrible job of being a publisher for We Happy Few, which, to be fair, We Happy Few does look like, from everything I've seen, every review, it seems like nobody really likes it. It still feels like that you could probably run a mod on it, just a no-die mod, or a never get caught mod, and remove a lot of the content, and maybe have a story mode. But then there also is a case to be made that they were supposed to have already fixed that. Like, that should have already happened, because they took extra time with We Happy Few to make it more of a story-based experience, and it still really isn't it. Frankly, they should have they really should have abandoned the survival mechanics.
I hope you like my invention.
From the word go. Let's see.
Oh, if you're sure.
Let's see. Moving on, GameIndustry.biz has an article. Sumo is a Sumo Digital. Yes, Sumo Digital is being quoted as constraining Valkyrie devs to VR would be the wrong thing to do. Newcastle Studio already working on active projects, but new parent hints at other expertise. So Sumo Digital, did they buy out CCP Newcastle? Is that what happened? The EVE Online developer? Yeah, the Newcastle studio was acquired at the beginning of the year, just a few months after EVE Online developer CCP shut it down and pulled out of the VR market. So yeah, there was a VR office that they decided to not make VR games.
Welcome to my web.
Which kind of makes sense. It's probably the right move. And Sumo Digital acquired them, and now they're letting them make something that's not VR. Alright, fair enough. Moving on, we've got a massively multiplayer open sandbox game called Boundless in early access on Steam. It came out November 30th, and it's already very positive with 84% of 26 user reviews, or mostly positive with 76% of 617 user reviews, so maybe it was out in early access for a while here. The thing I can say immediately is that Boundless does seem like it is a much more polished game than what we usually see. But it's still not quite that polished, and it seems like you just play as monsters that are playing in a kind of Minecraft world. It's blocky like Minecraft. It seems like there might be some redstone mechanic or some kind of elements in here, some trading elements. It seems like, yeah, the question is, are all of these multiplayer characters? And no humanoids in the game at all. It's all these alien creatures. Aliens that you're playing as, and aliens that are
I got the best deals anywhere.
Job's done.
that are just alien monsters that you're attacking. Yeah, there's a lot of polish on this to try to make this the next Minecraft. It has 59 achievements, which seems a little high. It's $39.99. I don't think so though. I seriously doubt we're gonna get a clone of Minecraft to succeed. If anything, why not just go back and play Minecraft with all the mods and plugins? And Minecraft, by the way, is churning along and added its new aquatic update and new elements. And so when you start, if you were to really take a list of all of the Minecraft elements that are in the Minecraft Java version, and if you were to take the Bedrock edition, which is what's on Switch and consoles, and get that cross-play on multiple different consoles, yeah, there's just all the power and might of Microsoft, for whatever that is supporting Minecraft a lot more than you would than any new game. Like a new game, really, you really have to go in a new direction with a new game if you want it to be a super smash hit. Like, you cannot be iterative.
I hope you like
at
my
all.
invention.
The pleasure is mine.
Let's see. Just gonna draw cards.
I hope you like my invention.
Greetings, friend.
I hope you like my invention.
Watch this.
Job's done.
So a little bit more information about the new Crystal Dynamics Crystal Northwest in Washington. It'll be headed up by the long-time industry veterans of Chad Queen and James Lowe, and the new outfits aims to bolster the company's overall game development efforts, specifically in regards to its unnamed Avengers project. So, I guess that tells you two things to take from that. One, the Avengers project is not very far along in development. Like, just take that straight from that thought. And two, what is the other thing? The Avengers project is still being supported, I guess, would be the other thing to take from that. Whereas I wouldn't be surprised if Disney got impatient and just said, forget it, cancel it. By the time you get this game ready and done, we'll be done with the entire series of Avenger movies, which is a possibility. As for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Avengers, once they're gone, they are just kind of gone. Like, you're not gonna have a new Avengers and convince people to go watch the new Avengers where there is no Captain America and there is no no Iron Man. You're really gonna have to shift into a completely different universe and have completely different characters play that. And if they do something crazy where it's like this is the everybody is gender swapped universe, a lot of people are gonna make a lot of complaints about that. So, like, you really can't do that either. Like, you could slowly try to include like Miles Morales as the new Spider-Man, but you've barely made any progress with Peter Parker. But yeah, you certainly can't bring in female Thor or female. Yeah, Thor. That was what they called her, female Thor. They didn't. I don't even think they gave her a name until really at the end of it. And still, since you can't really do new Avengers, they actually talked about that too, where they've already tried to do a new Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the Sokovia movie and where Vision was created, which was, I think, Avengers 2, Avengers 3. At the end of that game, at the end of that movie, they were trying to very much have introduce a whole new series of the new Avengers, which is what Marvel and comic books have certainly tried to do in the past too. But yeah, it's not gonna work. Moving on from that short little bit of rants, there definitely is a problem. While the DC universe is never going to get off its feet unless Disney starts doing the DC movies too for people, and then they shift back and forth. Like, the Marvel universe is almost doomed to fail after the Thanos storyline. You really can't go anywhere after Thanos. Like, they would have had to have written better storylines after that, and they kinda didn't. Oops. Probably played the wrong card there. I should have played this. Kimetsu has an article. The puzzle-solving and exploration game Protoform is coming to the Switch in 2019. The next game from the studio behind My Time in Portia. No more information really to be talked about there. Kimetsu. At least they keep their websites brief when they talk about games they really have nothing to say about. Alright, we need to just play a couple more rogue cards and maybe get a victory. And then we'll be done. PC Gamer has an article. Hacknet gets educational pricing plan to help teachers and students teach students about cybersecurity. The plan was enables institutions that want to use the game for teaching purposes to buy bulk license keys at half price from the itch.io store. Users can select the price based on the number of machines they plan to buy to install in the game, at which point they'll be given access to DRM free builds. The pricing includes both standard versions and special educational versions intended for younger players, which removes any explicit language from the game. And the fact that there is a version with explicit language, I think, is the problem. It's kind of in the same way that there was an educational version of Assassin's Creed Origins. Really, you just can't really do that, because then kids are gonna go home and say, well, I'm allowed to play Assassin's Creed Origins at school, and then the parents who don't know anything will go, well, I guess you can play this M-rated game while you're running around killing people. Then if your school says it's okay, then I guess it's okay. So yeah, if they really wanted this to be an educational product, I think that's it. There also is very much a case of now educational software is its own fully developed industry, and I don't think that you would convince many teachers to buy and play that game. If anything, you should probably just be teaching the kids real hacking and cybersecurity from an actual person who could teach that class or write that textbook. Of course, also, as far as most people are concerned, nobody's going to sue at school. So schools have unquestioned allowances of violating copyright. It's part of the fair use. Or at least it was assumed that it was part of the fair use and propagated as something that was part of fair use. And so you could go and get a movie or DVD from anywhere, and you could play it. And they basically said, well, if we just do it, we only do it this year, that's fine. Which inherently, what student would have been in the same teacher's class for multiple years to know whether the teacher was showing the same movie more than once a year or not? So yeah, they could basically do it whenever they wanted. As for software, you could probably get away with the exact same thing. Screw with Microsoft. Sure, Microsoft might try to audit a school and make them buy more license, but nobody at Hacknet has the sway and the lawyers to say, hey, we've noticed that you have 30 copies of this game and you only bought one license of this game, or you didn't buy any license. And inherently, if you are planning on making any extra copies, why don't you just torrent the game immediately and have no connection or no information tied to the school in the first place? That way you could never be caught. They could never find who the culprit is. because you wouldn't have put any information into the system. Once you get in the system, you're actively asking yourself to be audited. Moving on, we've got a I kind of want to wrap up here, but I don't think we can, and it's been an hour, so I think we may just have to go another hour. We've got a game on Steam called Sword Omen Legacy. Sword Legacy Omen, if I can read correctly. Let's do this. Turn. Let's see. Sword Omen Legacy is an isometric top-down. It says it's an RPG, indie adventure core action game. Suffers a little bit of dark screenshot syndrome. Let's see. It's being published by Team 17 Digital, which is the publishers of Overcooked 2. So, and they just published Overcooked, so yeah. Yeah. 12 achievements, 20% off for $14.39. I guess I'll be generous here and keep an eye on this game and see if it gets really, really good reviews. But I seriously doubt it will. There's a lot of videos here, a lot of screenshots. It mostly looks like it's just kind of your standard fare isometric top-down RPG game. Doesn't seem like it has a twist or anything in it that would interest me. Let's see. Deal 1 damage, draw a card. Damage, draw a card. Too soon. And deal 4 damage.
Time to pay.
And in the turn, we've got a game on Steam called Simple Racing. It looks like it's an asset flip racing game. I'm just going to rush through that and say it's 40% off for $2.99. If you're going to name your game Simple Racing, you're going to lose my attention immediately. It's from a developer called Simple Racing and a publisher called Simple Racing also, so they have clearly no intention of ever making anything else. This is interesting. This next game is called Darken VR, D-A-R-K-E-N. It says it's set in the world of horror and science fiction. Darken is a VR. In VR lets you experience the labyrinth room and darken rooms that belong to the lost souls who have been sent to the strange world to be cared for by their altruistic overseer Mother Darken. This seems like it is either a combination of full motion video and animation, or this is straight up just a video in VR or an slightly interactive experience. It does kind of seem like it's a walking simulator with full motion video maybe included. The trailer looks way better than the screenshots did. Let me go back here and see. Like, this trailer looks like real actors. It says a movie, and there's like little portals, it seems like, that you walk through. Yeah, a digital series. And it looks like the actors might be decently good. Like, This looks like real acting in a VR with VR built around it. It's 99 cents. Darken VR is interesting.
Your magic shall not save.
Although I'd probably just want to watch the movie and get rid of the VR part. I don't think that the animated cutscenes of the VR and the animated areas of the VR work well with it at all. It's from a company called Shaftesbury Darken Digital Incorporated, and the publisher is Shaftesbury Sales Company. Yeah, if I had VR, I might spend 99 cents on this just to see the movie, but honestly, the part that makes it a video game is almost certainly awful and practically non-existent. Let's see. Force an enemy to attack an enemy. Return a friendly. Deal 2 to an undamaged minion. Discover a card.
Choose 2.
Let's see. Play that. PC Gamer has an article, 9 obscure games from big developers. Let's see what this list is. Impossible Creatures from Relic Entertainment. Dangerous Dave from John Romero. Covert Action from Sid Meier. Omicron, the Nomad Soul from Quantic Dream. I tried to play that game and it was just way too old. MDK2 from BioWare. Shattered Steel from BioWare. Blackthorn from Blizzard. Let's go ahead and mute this guy. Stormrise from Creative Assembly. Ninja Blade from Software. Yeah, so there's a list there. I'll see how many of those are actually on Steam or not. Let's see. This is, I think, as good of a place as we're gonna get to break up the second recording and just make a third recording. I still need a warrior victory at this point. I've played Rogue multiple times and we can kind of see that the win ratio on the Rogue is not approaching what I'd want it to be for HS replay decks. Seems like some HS replay decks work well and do have higher win ratios than what I was making just by making random decks, but it seems like some of them require so many cards that I'm missing that they still really are just big old losers. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, I'm asking people to friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.